Hello and welcome to this presentation about building a positive culture. This is my passion, feedback according to research. So let's start. So how do you deliver feedback without negative effects? And how do you build trust and safety in the organization? So follow me. If you meet a lion in the terrain out in the fields, what will you feel? Yes, probably frightened and scared. This is what happens when there is a threat to us and we go into fight, flight, or freeze mode. And this is actually what happens when we get negative feedback or even constructive feedback also. So this is inhibiting learning and also creativity in our brains. So we don't have those functions as well then. So there is another way to do feedback. And this presentation will be about that way, a new way to do feedback. So here is an example of negative feedback of the effects. So Hilma af Klint, she was the world's first abstract painter from 1906. She painted abstract paintings. And Rudolf Steiner, the founder of the anthroposophy, she really adored him and wanted him to come and look at her paintings. And finally he came and he said, no, nobody will understand these paintings. You cannot show them in 50 years. So what happened? Yes, she stopped painting, completely stopped painting during 4 years, 4 years. So normally there is a decrease in productivity when you have negative or constructive feedback. But here it was no productivity at all. And imagine what a loss for the world this was. I mean, I love her paintings. They're terrific, I think. And a lot of other people think so too. So what do you do when you go around in the office? What do we do? Yeah, we don't always think of what we say and what we do. So maybe you are walking around throwing socks instead of giving gifts. So I've been hiking in those, and even holes in them. So that's what can happen when you don't think of what to say and do. We go around and throw old socks to each other. This is often what happens. And instead, when you give feedback, you can think of what do the receiver need. When you give a gift, do you think of what's inside then? Yes, you think of the receiver, don't you? And do you think of the wrapping, the packaging, or do you just throw the gift? No, maybe you do something like this. Yes. So this is what you can do. You can think about the timing and how you deliver the gift also. That's all about the wrapping and the package. So also what's inside. What does the receiver need? So which one do you prefer to give and receive? This one or this one? This? Yeah, I thought so. This is nicer to give and to get the right moment, to find the right moment to give it. So why a positive culture? Well, the alternative is to throw around those socks. And there can even be bullying or harassment going on. And people get sick and burnt out. So the alternative is not so good. And also, if you have a positive culture with trust, then you will have better performance, better well-being, and you will have better results. So there is a lot of positive effects to have and build a positive culture. So this with feedback then. What if we have all been doing it wrong all the time? Yeah, what if? Maybe we have. Maybe we have. So here is a research-based feedback concept. I will not show all of it today, just some small highlights, some of the keys. So here we have positive feedback, and research shows that 3 to 7 positive feedback is needed for 1 negative or constructive feedback. But here we don't have that. We have coaching feedback instead. Yes, coaching feedback. You lead each other forward with questions instead. And we will take a look at that later on, soon. So positive feedback, this is encouragement, it's praise, it's appreciation, and it creates well-being, and you get many lucky hormones like oxytocin when you give each other positive feedback. So no feedback, it's not so good either. Even the skilled workers want more feedback. Yes. Research and studies shows that 70% of us want more positive feedback than we do get today. So what is this with coaching feedback then? Well, instead of saying this is not working, you could say, how do we make this a success? Instead of saying you have done it wrong, you could say, how do we do this in the right way? You don't meet the results. Not so fun to hear, is it? How can I help you to meet the results? And this is all about getting the right connections in the brain. The receiver needs help to get the right connections in the brain. And you are there to help them, not to stop them from finding the solution. Because if you say you don't meet the results, you actually stop them from finding the solution, because the learning is inhibited and you don't help with the right connections in the brain. Because if you focus on the problem, you cannot have the solution in the brain at the same time. And that is the same for the receiver of the feedback. So you don't perform. You could say, how do you want to improve? You never do the dishes, and this is not only at home. No, I've heard people arguing about this at work. So this is not helping at all. So you could say, who are doing the dishes, or who's always doing the dishes, if it's the same person always. Who do you think should do the dishes? And then you can have a discussion about it, and maybe you find a solution together. You never reach your goals. What's your plan to reach your goals? Much more helping, isn't it? So here we have an exercise, and I call it the first one, coaching positive feedback, because maybe you don't work so close, maybe you're consultants or traveling a lot. And of course, you can say the positive feedback to that person if you find positive feedback, and you will if you start with this method. But you can also coach that person to find the positive things. You can say, what good things have you done this week? And then how did you do it? So that that person can copy the success. So then we have coaching feedback. What do you want to improve? What can you take to the next level? So this is to challenge your colleague or even yourself. You can do these exercises with yourself every week also. So this is something you can achieve start coming week. And you can document all what you said. And then you can have follow-up meetings to see what happened. And you can be there for your colleague or your co-worker and help them to develop and help them to reach their goals. So why do I do this? Well, I love to see you succeed and your organization to succeed. And I think it's a faster way forward if we lead each other forward. So how do I do this? Well, normally at my workshops, we look at mindset. And even thoughts, and all this, what we say and do, are building the culture. And I teach this feedback method, and we get results like well-being and productivity. And it's easier to use this feedback method, and you can build the culture more consciously. And you can make an active choice what mindset you have, what thoughts you have, what you say and do. So here is a picture of Gotland, the island in the Baltic Sea, the pearl of the Baltic. And this is my inspiration and where I was brought up. Yes. And my background is that I have a Master of Science in Business Administration, and also I studied human resources at the university. And I've been working for Ericsson for a long time, building mobile infrastructure systems in the States and in Brazil, for example. I was in Paris for a while also. So this was very exciting, of course. And the countries are different, as you know, and the different organizations have different cultures. And we all people are different. And if we leverage and build upon our strengths, there will be an enormous power to lift the company. This is what I have seen. So we really need to work on the company culture, not to get the disruptive cultures that I still see today. And we need self-leadership and leadership. And we need everyone to thrive and to succeed, because everyone wants to be a star. So please make them feel like a star, because then they will perform better and you will have much better well-being in the organization. And don't hold back. No, this is not about holding back. Bring it up before it's an issue, before it's affecting the whole team or the whole organization. Bring it up with those questions and you will have a solution sooner than you know. So these are the highlights, 4 highlights of this short presentation. So feedback is a gift. Give it that way and also receive it that way. It's a gift to get feedback too. And praise 7 to 1 with the formula. Tell that you see their contribution and you will have these lucky hormones created like oxytocin. Number 3, coaching feedback. Let the person find their way forward. It will be much faster change and you will see that that person perform much better than if you tell them what to do. So 4, just do it and don't hold back and try to see the positive things and don't hold back all the positive things. No, don't walk around with your gifts. Give away the gifts to your colleagues. So thank you very much for listening, and please let's connect on LinkedIn.